Hey guys, welcome. Welcome. I'm really excited to have Rod Richardson on our webinar with us tonight. Actually, I should call it his webinar since he created the whole thing. This guy's a genius. He is a Blue Diamond with doTERRA, friend of mine, and I'm really glad that he has created this business boot camp for his team, and he's ready, willing, and able to share with us because it's a really awesome program. And I think it's going to be a fantastic way for those of you who are feeling like you need a duplication model to take this and to share it with your team. So I want to introduce Rod Richardson to you guys. And Rod, you can go ahead and take it away.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks, Haley, for inviting me. I mean, it's quite an honor to be invited by one of the largest rank holders in the company and one of the fastest people to achieve that rank of double Blue Diamond. That's pretty awesome. And then to have you asking me about systems, that's really an honor. So,
you know, the thing that I've always said, Rod, and I just want my team to hear this too, is that when I sort of grew up in my doTERRA world, you know, I actually was not trained on a system. I didn't have an upline that was really directly mentoring me at the time, and I just kind of got out there and sort of had to, in a sense, not recreate the wheel, but sort of create my own business here. And I got little drips and drabs from other cross-line leaders and upline leaders along the way, but there really was not a system that I was trained on. And what I'm looking forward to now is being able to introduce this to people the minute that they come in, the minute that they enroll, and showing them that they can, if they go through these steps, they can have a successful business, build a successful business, and then they can actually help their downline doing the right thing. Because I feel like I not necessarily wasted a lot of time in the beginning, but I did spend countless hours and hours and hours and hours doing things that I probably would not have had to do had I had this type of model or been introduced to this type of model when I was growing up. So I actually am really excited to have you here and introduce this system. And why reinvent the wheel? Here it is, right?
Right. Well, that's fantastic because, you know, one of the main reasons we have a system is because when I started, there wasn't one. And I came from a background where we actually design and build systems for virtually every major network marketing company in the world. And so it was a big part of my background as well as my partner's background, Seth, resume. And so in those early days, we actually created one of the first systems in doTERRA called the Fast Track Planner. And of course, since then, it has evolved and gotten more concise as we've gotten more and more proof of concept. And so now ultimately we have an incredible thing. So how do I advance the slides? Do I just tell you next slide?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. All right. So this is the place that we want to start with as we set the stage for what the Edge Success System is. And that is, what are your basic fears about the business? So go ahead and forward again. And then hit the button again. Now there's basically three areas that people are wondering, and that's what do I do to build my business? Hit it again. And who do I talk to? How do I talk to these people? And ultimately, what do I say? And so I spent, there was a period of time, you know, as we created the first initial systems inside the company, where I started to have this impression, like maybe many of you do as well. And that is the idea that there's some sort of secret to building like a Haley Hobson or building like a Natalie Goddard or an Elise Sedeve, and feeling like there's some sort of missing piece that you don't have. And so go ahead and click the next slide. So I started going around looking for the gurus of the industry to see if there wasn't some sort of consistency. Go ahead and hit the next screen. And the major secret that I discovered was the concept of simplicity. Go ahead and hit next. And so I've created these principles called anchor wisdoms, and this is your first one, and that is the idea that simplicity accelerates duplication, and when you add complexity, it actually kills or slows down duplication. And so a lot of us can be really effective at building, or some of us might be naturally gifted at building. However, that becomes very difficult to duplicate, or other people feel like they can't do what you do. And so EDGE success, the EDGE acronym actually has a purpose to it. And if you go ahead and unfold those, there's 4 of them. The E in the EDGE, this is a training model. So it stands for explain, demonstrate, guide, and empower. And so if you think about that in terms of a training method, it's first explaining the concepts to people, then demonstrating it through your own action, and then guiding them through their own practice of it, so that they become ultimately self-reliant or self-empowered. And now, one of the concepts that we've used to develop that is a 3-door method, and we've developed basically a concept. And go ahead and click the next view to get these statements on. This is the core of the system, and that is we walk through 3 doors with 3 invitations that lead to 3 presentations. And so if you observe this slide for a moment, you're gonna notice that the basic training concepts is about teaching people the psychology of 3 doors. It's helping people understand 3 basic scripts, and then teaching you how to deliver 3 basic presentations. So next slide. So the 3 doors of openness basically functions on this premise. So if you picture those 3 doors as being the mentality of an individual, the first thing you're interested in is, are they open to learn about essential oils? And if they are, then that leads to an essential oil class. And if they are, then that's going to lead to a membership overview. And then finally, are they open to share oils with other people? And if so, that's going to lead to a business overview. So this is your basic flow of the process. Go ahead and click the next screen. Now this shows you how that flow interacts with the tool set that we've created. So first of all, there's the network, or the people that you know, and how do you manage that? And we have a tool that's dedicated to that process. Then it's the 3 doors of openness that you're walking your prospect to. So on the very top of your screen, it's where does your network go? What is the flow? And that first step is, are they open to learn? And then we have the tools that are related to delivering that presentation, which is the class that leads to an enrollment. And then if they're open to use, then the next tool is called the membership overview. And then if they're open to share oils with others, then we have the business overview. And we also have an audio program called Buckets, Pipelines, and Essential Oils. That's basically Seth and I describing the doTERRA business opportunity to potential people that might be interested in your business opportunity. And then if they want to build, and if they show progress moving forward, then we have a mentoring path, and we have tools that keep you in line with the very basic activities that help you generate cash flow in your business. So the first of those is called the Fast Track Planner. And then we have a Daily Edge notebook. And then we also have an audio book called 4 Essential Steps to Building Your Essential Oil Business. And that deals with finding people, teaching people, enrolling people, and then duplicating yourself and others. And that's kind of it's a way to teach someone else by handing them an audio program. Go ahead and click the next slide. So the first tool, this is called My Names List. This is a tool that I actually developed for small business years ago to help people manage their networking activities, because I find that most people in network marketing, ironic, the skill that they don't really understand that they need to know, or even have any comprehension of, and that is the ability or the process of networking. Now, there's a lot of times and a lot of things that are promoted oftentimes that, and a lot of people try to seek for the magic or the silver bullet. But the irony is the real key is your ability to network. That's where builders come from. That's where duplication comes from. That's where a massive organization. So just to give you an example, right now, my organization spans every U.S. state in 28 foreign countries. I have 17 people above diamond, with 5 blue diamonds, and probably 4 people on the verge of presidential diamond. In my organization, 40,000 people worldwide, volume of over about nearly 2.5 million in volume. In And I've done that by enrolling or networking with about 50 people that I've personally enrolled. Now, of course, I've assisted many people in enrolling more people than that. But if you think about that, the power of that exponential growth was the power or the ability to network. Also, my front line is nearly all diamonds or diamond level leaders. And the result to that is incredible time freedom. So these are the types of things that people are striving for. And the biggest question is asked, well, how did you do that? Well, I did it through the power of networking, because the power of networking is understanding how to create relationships and how to solidify relationships in the short term so that you get a maximum amount of impact with the minimal amount of effort. And I discovered this through years of trial and error. For example, I spent several months on a campaign one time where I invested about $3,000. I enrolled 2 people through the program, one of which joined a competing company eventually, and the other one eventually drifted off. And then I thought to myself, how many samples could I have, how many oils could I have bought from my own account with that money, and create relationships in the process. And I realized that through networking, I could have probably quadrupled my effort and been able to maintain those people, because it would have been about solidifying the relationship instead of just marketing my product. And so this is where this tool comes into play. Now, go ahead and click the next. There should be a close-up shot of this. Click it one more time. And so if you look at this, this is designed to help you walk your contact through a specific cycle. And so on the upper right-hand corner of each contact, you'll notice a C, S, P, E, and H. And so what that stands for is when you list out your contacts, did you talk to them, which should be the C, did I call them? Did I send them a sample? Did I present to them? Did they enroll, or did they host a class for me? And so with that basic thing, this is how I manage my names. In fact, I don't know if you can see it on my camera, but this is my personal names list that sits on my desk. Now, I like the paper. We do have a digital app that helps you do the same thing from your cell phone called My Daily Edge. But I like the paper because I can't hide from my names list. And when I have that sitting on my desk, I can see immediately where I'm at with people. And so it's just a great tool, especially when you're starting out. Now, the other part of this is when you're making a names list with this tool, there's 50 sheets in the TerraPad. And if you think about that's 500 names if you complete the whole TerraPad. Now, what I've discovered is any of my leaders that have a names list of 500 people never run out of people. And that is because no matter who you have on the list, they will, even if they're not interested, they know somebody who is. And that's what networking is. It's working with your network to discover the people that are interested. And so that's what this tool is about. Go ahead and click the next shot. All right, so now in this process, we will walk through the first door with the first invitation. So go ahead and click the next button, the next one. And so we're going to begin. I'll just show you how simple these invitations are. It's basically 3 questions that you ask. So if you're approaching somebody, remember that the first door is, are they open to learn, right? So you just ask, I'm just curious, are you open to natural forms of healthcare? Now with compliance, maybe you could say, are you open to natural health? But the idea is to just find out if the people you know or the people you're in contact with, are they open to natural health? That's the key. Now this automatically starts to qualify the person you're talking to. Now I found that over half of the people that I ask that question to are interested. So then I ask the next question, what do you know about essential oils? Now they'll at that point tell you everything that they know about essential oils, and then I can ask the final question, would you like to learn more about them? Okay, so this is the first invitation. We're inviting them to a class. And from there, if they say, yeah, I'd love to learn more about them, then I could just say, would it be okay if I invite you to a class I have on this Tuesday? So now that leads to the first presentation. So go ahead and click the next. The first presentation we've developed a class flow. This is Nature's Oils for Your Home. And it basically, by the way, has been all adjusted, so all the claims there are from the quick claims guide. So you don't have to worry about what's being said on the sheet, but it's designed so that you can read the bullet points. So even if you're brand new and you're doing a one-on-one with somebody, you have the ability to go through. I would just sit somebody down, I'd pull out my bottle of peppermint, and I would say, what are essential oils? They're nature's defense mechanism for plants and cells. They're pure extracts from plants. They're highly concentrated, 50 to 70 times more powerful than herbs. So I go through it just like that. And I still do that fairly closely even today after delivering hundreds of presentations. And the reason why is because it's effective. And if I do it that way, the person I'm talking to believes that they can do it. So it's not about how skilled you become. It's about how believable you make yourself in somebody else believing they can do what you do. So go ahead and click the next. Now this particular tear pad, of course, comes around to the back, and then it leads automatically into the way that you get a membership. So go ahead and click the next button. In the next. Now this is a kit options pad that we've specially designed to fit with this. This is all updated. You'll notice that all the products there are the new products that were just announced at convention. Pricing and everything is all updated on this sheet. But the difference between this one and others that are available that maybe even show the same product is you'll notice that we have the loyalty rewards scale and all the benefits highlighted. We also designed the pads so that you can start on the back or the front. It doesn't matter. I prefer to start with the back so that I'm starting with the largest kit first. It allows me to present the fullest value to the customer. And then by the time I get to the lower side, then there's not a cost shock on the economy kits. And so in this business, I've found that people buy what you sell. When I look in my back office, I have distributors that only sell $35 accounts. I have distributors that only sell family physician kits. And I also have distributors that only sell large kits. And I have to ask myself the question, what are they doing differently? And ultimately, it always comes back to that same thing. People are buying whatever that particular distributor is selling. And people believe in the conviction in which you present that. So I always present the diamond kit first in the value of that. And ironically, when I go around to trainings, when I ask any group of builders that has been in the business for 6 months or more, almost 100% wish they would have started with the diamond kit now that they understand the value. And so that's this sheet allows you to do that. Go ahead and click the next. So this leads to the second door. So remember, we're coming in with the second invitation. Go ahead and click the next. And this is where we're going to close the class. So this is the invitation. So this is what I do. I train each of my builders when they're in a class to ask this question to their prospect when the class draws to a close. And they just say, I'm just curious, what did you like most about the class? That starts the conversation. Then I, because they have the material in front of them, I just say, which of the kits interests you the most? And then finally, the really scary question, I just say, would it be okay if we set up your wholesale membership account tonight? Now, I find that if you ask people directly if they would like to set up their wholesale account, a lot of their closing, you almost double your closing rate by just simply asking. Because most people don't ask. Now, the key to this is, I found personally, because I'm introverted, so a lot of people say, yeah, it's easy for you because it's natural for you. Well, it's natural for me because I've done it 100, thousands of times. And my fear of it has gone away because I understand the language. So when you know the language, when you know what you're going to say, when you know what to say, then it's just about confidence in your product. And then you become you become better postured, and the next thing you know, you have greater results. So go ahead and click next. And then your fear goes away, and then click the next one. And then when they're ready to enroll, when they say, yeah, let's set up my account, then I'll pull out this form. This is also another version of the Advocate Wellness Advocate Agreement that we created. It's customized to us. In fact, doTERRA copied us on it, believe it or not. And so this is a design that we created to help, again, re-emphasize the benefits of the offerings. And we've done that by highlighting the loyalty reward areas that they start with. Now, again, this sheet is all updated. You'll notice that all the kits are new and all the pricing is current as of the 1st of October. Go ahead and click next. Now, this is the invitation that transfers you directly to the second presentation. And you simply say, and this has to be done while you're filling out the Wellness Advocate Agreement. So while they're filling it out, remember, they just made a buying purchase. And so I just look at my prospect and I say, hey, Susan, our next step is to schedule a membership overview and to show you how to manage your orders and get the most out of your membership. When would be a good time to do that? Now, I try to schedule that meeting for exactly when their oils are arriving. Now, I found that I can get that meeting almost every time if I ask while they're being enrolled. If I wait till later, if I send them out the door and then I try to call them back, then it's very difficult to schedule this second presentation. And the second presentation is actually the most important presentation. It's more important than the class because it sets the stage for a permanent customer and it sets the stage for potential business builders. Without it, you're likely losing most of your people. So go ahead and click the next. So this is the membership overview. This is another document, a presentation document that we've been created, and this is designed for you to leave with your prospect. It has spaces on it. Go ahead and click next. I think I have some inside shots on it, and there should be 3-page shots here. So there's spots in here that allow you to put in their member ID and their password, so you can teach them how to log in to their account. And then it goes through basic reoccurring product options, so consumable products. And what we did with this document is we actually put in protocols because we realized that people just didn't know how to use the product. And so when we first launched this, we noticed that retention rate inside of our team, inside a very large team, we affected the retention rate by 7%. So if you're a marketer, by chance, you understand the significance of that statement because a 7% increase in loyalty reward orders on doTERRA's side would represent millions and millions of dollars of sales. And so this document has been effective in doing that. So go ahead and click the next. This is inside, so we deal with all of the areas of the wellness pyramid that doTERRA has created. Now what we found is if people feel healthy and they feel like they're the optimal weight, they almost always have some sort of stress. And if they don't have that, then you can basically say, well, do you brush your teeth, wash your hands, wash your clothes, or clean your house? And so by the time you get to this point, we found a way for people to use loyalty rewards and get the most out of their membership, even if they feel perfectly healthy and they can't think of specific things immediately that they would use. And so now, by the end of this discussion, they should be wondering, it should be a question about not what am I going to order, but what am I going to order first? Go ahead and click next. So now we're ready. When we come to the end of this document, we're ready now to walk through the third door with the third invitation. And so go ahead and click the next one. So it's time to ask the big question when you come to the end of this document. This is the part that everyone is afraid of. And so we're going to give you the language. I'm just curious. Are you open to the idea of creating an income with doTERRA? See how simple these invitations are? And these are critical moment, critical transition phrases. And I've had people just memorize these three invitations and dramatically accelerate their business because now they know what to say to get people to make a decision, right? That's the biggest thing. You're assuming that they want to move forward without asking them, or you're thinking that they're showing interest, but you haven't asked them to give you a yes or a no. And so at this point, you've come to the end of the membership overview, and you've asked them if they're interested in the business. And if they are, now you can schedule a time to go over the business overview. Now, I find a lot of times that if people are ready to learn about how you generate an income, then I don't hesitate to pull this out in that meeting. However, the reason we've set it up in threes is because we found that the key to really creating a strong retention rate and driving a lot of builders out of your organization is multiple points of contact. And again, what that does is that solidifies your relationship with people, and it allows you to create a more loyal team with less people and have a larger impact. Okay, so this is the business overview. Go ahead and click the next and we'll show you the inside. It starts with the buckets and pipelines story, which basically just asks the question, how are you earning money? Are you hauling buckets? If you stop working today, do you stop getting paid? And the value of creating a residual business. And then in one trifold display, we show you all 5 ways that you generate income with doTERRA. So you can walk through this fairly quickly, and it's highly visual and gives them a real clear understanding of where that income is derived from. Now, the other side of that document has doTERRA's full and complete income disclosure statement, and that makes it FTC compliant, so that you can share a business opportunity, and it's included on that document all in one piece. And again, you can leave this with with your prospect. Go ahead and click the next. All right, now when you get to the end, now you're asking the question at the end of this to find out if they're truly committed to build. And so when you've asked them, what are their goals with doTERRA? What do you want to accomplish? You've shown them all the ranks. A lot of times they'll point at like the gold, the gold income or something like that. So people are striving to maybe replace an income or create a really solid side income when they first start. Now, my next step with that person is to get them to schedule a date to give a class so that they can invite their immediate sphere of influence, and then I can come and teach the class. This is how I transition somebody from saying they want to build into builder activities. Go ahead and click the next one. We also have the buckets and pipelines audio that will tell the business story. It doesn't tell all the income, but it does make a case for doTERRA. So now when somebody starts to build, this is how we move into the mentoring path. And now there's another anchor wisdom here, and this is my building mantra. So my building mantra is I invite everyone, I work with those that move towards me, and I mentor committed people. Now, what you'll find most of the time when you're trying to build is that we get desperate for any sort of response. So we're inviting anyone, and we're working with anyone that will that we can bother or get to answer the phone, and we'll start mentoring people that haven't realized they're in business yet. And so I've realized that creates a lot of stress, and it creates a lot of weakness inside your organization. And so we developed this phrase to kind of give our builders an idea to help them understand who they need to focus on, because you have a limited amount of time and energy. And so it's important that the people that you're working with are those that are demonstrating a true desire. And so through this whole process, you're seeking openness, and you're extending the invitations, but you're only putting energy where you're getting response, and you're only investing where you're getting commitment. Go ahead and click the next. This is a tool that we have for helping people get started. This is like a personal business plan. It's a fast track planner, and it's designed to help you through your first steps. The whole front page is dedicated to you. And then go ahead and click the next button. The inside is dedicated to those you find that want to build. So it allows you to track the progress of those that are teaching, teaching, and enrolling that you've enrolled. So this is the first part of leadership. Then go ahead and click again. And then the back side of it helps you with placement strategy. And so we've selected the gold as a target because we use a basic philosophy, build for gold and hit silver in the process. And the reason why is because if you're just building for silver, you're likely going to be constructed under weak leaders And then you'll have weak lines. Now, all of the blocks here are for builders and not customers. And so when you're looking at the $1 million real estate there, that's critical space. That's the sweet spot. That's where you want your most committed people to be in the $1 million real estate spots. And then the next thing we do is tap rooting and leadership in depth. And what that is each one of these spaces is dedicated to a builder. And so if you look real closely at the blocks, you'll notice that there's an F, T, E, and D inside the block. And what that stands for is, say I put the name Sarah in there as a new builder, then as I teach Sarah how to find people, then and she becomes proficient at it, then I would check the F. She's become proficient at finding. And then when I teach her the class and she's able to take it on, then I would check the T for teaching. She's able to teach people about oils. And then when she becomes proficient at enrolling, then I'd check the E. And then when she learns how to train someone else, then I would check the D. And so now I can tell at a glance on this sheet exactly where my builder is and where their breakdowns are, so that I know where to spend my time training them. And they also have a good shot of how to construct their organization. I'll tell you that the money inside doTERRA is not found in efficiency. It's actually found in depth. So for example, I'm a blue diamond, but my organization comprises about 4 presidential diamond organizations in size and volume and leadership. I have 200 silvers, just to give you an example. And so in that process, you might say, well, why did he do that? Why doesn't he get more efficient and advance ranks faster? It's because I found that the money and the stability and the freedom is found in the unilevel, and the unilevel is strengthened by depth of leadership. And so the focus of I have areas in my organization where we actually have 4 blue diamonds stacked on top of each other. Now, if you think about that, that organization is never going away. I don't have to worry about it breaking down ever. And that's the reason why we put such an intense focus on the development of leadership in depth. Now, once you have my 7-level structure or unilevel structure is just about at capacity now. And so now as I add width to my organization, it increases my income. And now as I advance ranks, then I start adding in pools. But the stability of my core organization is intense. In fact, while I was diamond, I was the highest income earning diamond in the company. And a big part of that is because of our building philosophies. So go ahead and click the next. All right, now this is a tool that we developed to help keep you on track in terms of your daily activities. And it's called the 631 Success Schedule, or My Daily Edge. And basically, I think I have a shot of the inside of that. So if you click the next. So each day you just open a page of your planner and you put the names under each of those questions. So I would start the day by asking myself the question, who can I invite to a class or a one-on-one? And then if I have names from my names list that I haven't invited yet, then I can put them there. If I complete the task, I can check the C, and I can make notes on that where they are. Now, when you first start out, the first couple of questions are going to be where all your names are. When you get to my level, in Haley's level, then a lot of your names are probably going to be who's using the product that needs the business and who's building the business that needs support. So the last two, like I'll have 10 or 12 names in that area for myself for a day. And then now there's 6 daily questions that you ask yourself. And then there's 3 weekly objectives. So these are the things that you're trying to achieve. They're on the top of the right-hand page. So one is, have I attended the team calls? Am I staying connected with my team? The second one, have I talked to my mentor and set goals? Is there someone in my upline or my sponsor or my enroller that I'm working with directly, again, to maintain contact? I found that the key to longevity to builders and stabilizing your team is contacting. I have, and by contact, I mean by having physical live contact with your people. Now, I have some of my builders that try to circumvent that process. They try to automate it too much. and as a result, again, they end up losing their leadership and not stabilizing their teams. And so this is an area I actually spend the majority of my time in conversation and steady flows of communication. Technology has made it easy with Facebook and text messaging, and I can maintain several active conversations at once and maintain a personal feel and keep each leader feeling like they have personal connection with me. Now, the third one there is the most important one for getting your revenue up, hitting rank, and that is teaching 3 to 5 people a class a week. So, and now those classes can be one-on-one presentations, or they can be events. Doesn't really matter. But the most important thing is that you're in front of 2 to 5 new people a week, teaching them about oils. And that is how progress is made. And most of the time, if somebody says I'm not making progress in the business, it's really easy for me to ask the question and just say, how many people did you teach this week? And that will say everything right there. So go ahead and click the next. All right, this is, we also emphasize in there the 4 essential steps audio. And the reason why is because it does a lot of the basic training for you. And it helps people understand the fundamentals of how to build the business without a lot. Now, the irony is it's not so much about you being able to talk to 1 million people. It's about getting a lot of people to talk to a few people. And that's how large organizations are created exponentially. Again, it's not necessarily as speedy as ways can be. Obviously, if you're a great enroller, you have great marketing or things like that, that's going to enable you to put more people into the channel faster. And so the things that I'm talking to you are not necessarily about the right or wrong of business building. It's about the secrets of stabilizing your organization for long-term residual income. And that's done by stabilizing leadership and making sure you have the time to actually talk and train the rising leadership base. All right, go ahead and click the next. So this is a recap of the cycle that I just taught you tonight in the corresponding tools. So that is classes lead to membership overviews or enrollments, and enrollments lead to membership overviews. Membership overviews lead to business overviews, and business overviews lead to committed builders, and committed builders lead to more classes. And so this is the cycle. This is how duplication occurs, and this is how each step of the process flows from one step to another. Now for those of you, for me, a lot of my team and a lot of my new people are scattered all over the place. So it's not like it's easy for me to get to people in person. And so all of these tools, we actually have what we call easy share links. And I just get on the telephone and I direct people to the document online. And we have those set up through our Daily Edge business mentoring page. We have all the links up there, but they're really easy. It's things like myoilclass.com, mymembershipoverview.com, and mycompensationplan.com. And so I can give the class to somebody over the computer, over the telephone. And that's how many of my presentations are. Now, if I can get in person, I prefer that. And the reason why is because I'm more likely to create a relationship, again, to create a builder. And so now this is the full flow. The whole thing we've just called the Edge Success System, and it includes all the particular parts and pieces to it. We recently re-engineered it a little bit and added the price list to that. And the reason why is because that's increased the effectiveness of the sales. Now, part of the reason we created this is not because we were trying to be in the tool business. One is we created it because it didn't exist. 2, we created it because we had to have a system for our team that was duplicable. And 3rd, we needed simplicity, and that was not being addressed effectively in the company. And 3rd, our basic philosophy has been to design the tools that we need to grow our own team. So ultimately, we didn't necessarily even create it for the company. It just kind of happened that way. And now there's probably 1/3 of the company that uses this process. And so So
Just to recap here, because the screen is probably showing it really small for people. I just want to describe again what's on this page right here. So Rod has gone through how he uses all of these tools that he created, not because he wanted to be in the tools business, but because he thought this was the way to duplicate a system that would provide him with a huge residual income long term. And so what you're seeing on the left is the tool. Well, what you're seeing on the overall screen is all of the tools that are used in this edge.
cut out.
I believe, or it can be purchased individually as different tools, correct?
Right, that's correct. Yeah, everything's available individually. You know, there's we created a discounted bundle of it all just so a new person can get started with everything.
Right. So what I was thinking was that a new person comes on and buys the toolkit for themselves, the whole thing if they can. And then when they run out of things like the tear pads, they can repurchase them, or the 10 pack of membership overviews, or the 10 pack of business overviews. And then if you are actually bringing a new person into your team, like I'm sitting here brainstorming like, oh, well, maybe I should buy, you know, and start mailing them out to every single person that I enroll to get them started.
Right. I do that oftentimes. I usually gauge where my person is financially. And if I can tell it's a barrier, so many times I'll give it to them as a gift, especially if I can tell they're committed. But if they have the ability, there's also a sense of ownership when they make the investment themselves in their own business.
Okay, great. So yeah, so this is a great system. I really appreciate you sharing it with us. And so can you talk to the team more about how they can take it from here? I know like you're coming to Denver, you're doing actually in-person live all day boot camp on the system. And I know that that also lives on your Facebook forum or Facebook page, the Edge Success Facebook page. Can you talk a little bit about that if they want to do like an online boot camp, or if they want to look for a boot camp in their area to get a little bit? I mean, I think that you can just take these tools and run with it. It seems like it's a simple guide to getting started, but can you talk a little bit more about how somebody can sort of implement this and then the fast track planner that you talked about before, is that part of this, or has this become that? What I'm seeing on the top.
Yeah, the fast track planner is part of that set. And so that's, and the reason those come in a pack of 10 is so when you're sitting down with a new person, you can actually pull out a fast track planner for them, and then it helps you walk them through exactly what they need to get started. And so now the other thing that we've done is we've created the Edge Success Business Builder Bootcamp workbook. And so those that come to the Denver boot camp with me will all receive one of those. But we did that so that our leaders could actually duplicate the training. So in the beginning, it's about duplicating how to build. And then as you move into leadership, it's more about duplicating how to train. And so the workbook, we have a site that's the Bootcamp HQ Facebook group. And on there we have videos. We have full-length videos of a full boot camp. We have all the PowerPoints available. Now, again, I would recommend that golds or above, perform the training. And the reason why is because by that time, you've probably become pretty solid in your understanding of the business, and then you're able to present with much more confidence when people ask specific building questions. You probably have the experience to manage the class. But the overall flow is outlined. In the slide deck that you watch tonight is just an abbreviated version of the actual slide deck for the boot camp. And all those we've made available company-wide, and they're all, you can grab them and use them. So that's the training side of it. If an individual is wanting to get started, we do have the edgesuccess.tv where those, I believe our bootcamp videos are posted there. And you also
did you have an online app though that you launched at convention that's similar to the hard copies? People could, instead of purchasing this whole system, I think you're selling it for like $119 a month or something like that. they can get it for like $10 a month or something.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so the regular, if you want the app is called My Daily Edge, and you can find it through the Apple Store or Google Play. And from there, the app actually has, you have access to most of this stuff. It's hard to present. You still want the material for presenting, but all the tracking side of it, the app will allow you to do. And the app has the audio set inside of it. It has pictures, or it has those documents inside. They're just not as shareable that way. But there's also step-by-step video training inside the app. And so the app is kind of a full-scale training program in itself. And it's also an active contact manager, so it keeps your leads and your contacts in front of you. So it has reminders. It allows you to keep track of where you're at with your names. And so the app is a huge value as well. Now, the other cool thing that the app does is it allows a leader to mentor their team, because if any team member with the app gives the leader permission, then your stats from your app will show up on your leader's app. And so for mentoring now, we've dramatically reduced the amount of mentoring that we have to do, because if Haley, if you were on my team, I would just say, Haley, just give me permission to your app. And then as we had contact each week, I would know exactly where you are in terms of the number of classes, presentations, who's enrolled. All of it would show as a statistical bar right on my screen. And once I have those numbers, then I can see exactly where I need to focus on your mentoring. So if you've had a high number of contacts but a low number of enrollments, then we know your presentation is breaking down, or you're not asking for the business very effectively. Or if you have a lot of classes and enrollments but no membership overviews, then we know that you're not asking that question very effectively, or you're not getting your customers seeded into loyalty rewards very well. So that's the kind of thing, the power that the app has. And so that's definitely a great.
In other words, if I was on your team, and we would both have to have the app, and then I plug myself in as being in your organization, therefore you can see what's going on.
Right, exactly. And then it'll pull up your specific things. It's really cool.
It sounds like this whole system can be used basically dual purpose. One, as a contact management system. Two, as a sort of management system of your own network, and as a presentation system, and also getting the material in front of new people. But it also sounds like it's a system to help train and mentor not only yourself but also your downline.
Right, exactly.
So tell me one more question. I know there's lots of training systems out there. Different leaders have created different systems. When you created this one, what were you thinking, and why did you make it the way it was? Why is it a little bit different, or a lot different than other training systems? What do you love about it that you feel like has gotten you and your teams the best results? Because I had a Blue Diamond, Presidential Diamond Summit here in Boulder, as you know, a couple months ago. And one of the things that we all sat around talking about is what systems we should be using. And some people were not on any system. Some people were on this system. And it was the general consensus. This is, I think, when I reached out to you the first time, it was a general consensus that this was the system that most people were using. And not only that, but the feedback that I got was, once we started implementing this system, this is like either a Blue Diamond, Presidential Diamond saying this, our team exploded, and that was verbatim. So what was it about this, that you wanted to make it different from other systems, and why did you do that?
Okay. Yeah, that's, the 3 doors of openness is the foundation of this system. And that is the process of discovering somebody's openness step by step, meaning first, I'm only interested, are they open to learn about the oils? And then I'm interested if they're opening to use the oils, and then if they're open to sharing oils with others. And so if you think about that, when we built the system, we didn't ask, what can we put into the system? We asked the question, what is not needed? And so we actually approached it from a kind of a minimalist standpoint, and we boiled it down to exactly what we felt like was necessary. So it was not too little, but not too much. because we found that the more that's added to it, the more people become confused, and then it's more difficult for people to make a decision and actually learn how to move forward or even believe that they can move forward. And so there has to be just enough material to create belief in somebody that they can do it. And then yet not so much material or too little material where they still can't get a picture of how the flow happens. And so we've achieved that balance. The other thing is you'll notice that when corporate sends out the packet, the enrollment packet, there's kind of an understanding of a live, share, build concept. Now, if you think about that might seem really similar on the surface, but what we noticed is that if people became overly focused on the sharer concept, that they were getting stuck in their ranks. And so in our world, it's about building or not building. And then it's, there might be degrees of building and things like that, but there's not an emphasis or a category that we've created, because the sharer world can become really attractive to people, and then it puts you into kind of a party plan model, and then it starts you on a process where you're not really moving people towards building or committed leadership, and then you end up with teams under non-committed people. And so these are reasons, or where now keep in mind our team is large enough that we've been able to have a snapshot of different systems in play inside entire organizations. And so these are the things that we fundamentally noticed, was that there was stagnation in areas where people became concentrated on building under non-committed people. And because it brings up a great question. If you go to a sharer event, and those people want to enroll, then it brings up the question, who gets enrollership and where do you place them? Now, say you decide that person that's the sharer doesn't want any responsibility of those people, so they give the enrollership to you. And maybe you inadvertently walk off and place those people somewhere else. Well, 6 months later, they have an amazing experience with the oils and they decide they want to share them with the universe, and now they're wondering where all their people are. And so this creates a lot of drama inside the team. So these were some of the fundamental things that we were trying to, we actually had in place before that model had come out. But that basic 3 doors of openness has been so effective, so simple, and so easy to grasp that people are able to move forward with it.
That's awesome. It's awesome. I totally agree with you. I think the system is simple. I think it's easy, and I think it cuts a lot of the craziness out of, and a lot of the overwhelm out of everything. And it just basically lines up exactly what you have to do, how to get there. It's clear cut. It's in front of you, and I hope that a lot of people take advantage of it. So, I don't know. Is there anything else that you want to add, Rod?
No, I think come to the boot camp. And then we'll spend a day together, and we'll really go through those scripts and how to deliver each of these presentations. And usually people have a hard time moving forward simply because they don't really believe that they can do it. And secondly, they're not quite sure what to do. And so the boot camp kind of puts all that in place, makes it easy, makes understanding the business simple. The tools and the process do the heavy bulk of the work. You just have to be willing to open your mouth and follow the process with it, and put your own network into the program. And then it's building, my goal, I'd just love for anyone that wants to at least be able to get their products paid for, because that can make a huge difference in your home.
So I'm losing quietness in my office as you guys are all here and you guys understand what a webinar is. So I think we are wrapped up though now. I want to thank you again for all of your time. I'm looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks in Denver. And good luck with everybody. And hopefully you guys will take advantage of the system, and we'll talk about it more as a team. So thanks, Rod.
All right. Thanks, Haley.